Oh, we got a good one today, boys. Do you remember this putter? The Jack Nicklaus Muirfield by McGregor, and we did it up. Look at that finish. Rainbow, oil can, custom BBF Co. ferrule, KBS, putter shaft, and a new Super Stroke grip. You can do it yourself. You ready? Let's go.
Be the right club today. Yes!
What's going on, guys? G2 here with 3-putt bogey right up there. And today we're putting this putter together. And it's not hard. And you can do it yourself. So if you are new to the channel and you just found us, welcome. If you've been here before and you know what we do, welcome back. You're probably going to learn something. If not, at least you get to see a pretty sweet putter build in the end. Check stuff around. If you want to join the community, join the community. We'd love to have you. But enough of that. Let's get into this build. I've had this putter head for, I don't know, 12, 15 years. I liked it. I think I bought it in a pro shop in Arizona way back in the day. And it's just been sitting around on my little thing back here with all my other putters. I never really did anything with it. Old shaft, leather grip. I mean, it was beautiful. But it was rusting and the leather grip was pretty beat. And I wanted to play with it. Like, that's the whole purpose of this. It's not a trophy. Let's let this guy get back in action. That's what he wants. So if you've got that head that you're looking at on eBay, something old, maybe something in the garage that you just want to bring back to life and get it out there and let it relive its glory days, this is the video for you. Because it's not hard. And I'm going to show you how to do it with stuff I probably guarantee you have in your garage right now. You don't need anything fancy, anything special. You can do this. So enough of the jibber jabber and the flibber flabber. Let's go to the bench. All right, so welcome back to the bench. We are going to be putting together an easy little putter build. We gave it a nice little heat treat. Got some fingerprints on here, which gives it this, you can see that kind of oil can finish. And this is an older style putter, so this will need to have a ferrule. And we've got our shaft here. This is just your KBS putter shaft, and it would go in like that. And as you can see, it doesn't look really great. So these older putters typically use the ferrule. I pulled the old one off. I've got this one from BB and F Co, and we're going to use that one to put this guy all together. It's got the purple, the blues, to kind of match our scheme with our heat treat. So this should be pretty easy. First thing we got to do is we have to abrade the tip of the shaft. And the reason we do this is so that the epoxy can have something to grab onto. It's why when you're spray painting something or whatever it is, you'd use a primer, or you would scuff it up so that paint has something to hold on to. Those abrasions are like little fingers, and it just makes this bond stronger. So this is how we do it. We're going to do a dry fit. We know that our ferrule is going to sit somewhere up here. I use a piece of tape. I want to give a little bit of abrasion on the ferrule side, not a lot, just enough to hold that ferrule in place, and we're going to tape this off. And you'll see why in a second. We just give it a little protection. So we know that from tip of the shaft to here, we just want to abrade. Now you can just as easily get, you know, some 80 or 120 grit sandpaper like we have here, and just sit here and, you know, scuff it up. And that what that tape does, it just protects and gives you a line. And this would be more than sufficient. I have a belt sander that I use just for this, so I'm going to go over there, rip it up, just very lightly. We're not trying to take, you know, material off of this other than the coating, this black coating, just to buff it up or to scuff it up a little bit. Okay, so there we go. It's got it buffed up a little bit just to get that paint. And what I'll do is I'll get some acetone, and you want to make sure that you are cleaning through the process here, because Clean surfaces bond better than dirty ones, so we're just going to get the acetone and we're going to rub that and clean that off just to make sure we don't have any of the dust. Now at this point we can peel away our tape. We've got a nice clean line. We didn't go above it. We know that we're going to be perfect with our placement. So this guy's ready to go. We're just going to set him off to the side here for a second and out of our way. Now the second thing we're going to want to clean is we want to clean the inside of the hosel. Now I've already done this before. You can use acetone, you can use brake parts cleaner, whatever it is you want. You just want to use a little Q-tip, give it a rub around. Oh, it's still dirty, surprisingly. There's always something in there. Okay, and you can see it's not bad. I mean, listen, that's pretty good. We'll just do another one. Might have been some residual oil in there from the oil dunk heat treat, but okay, now we're clean, now we're good. We shouldn't need our acetone anymore. Now we also went through this hosel with a little sanding wheel just to scuff up the insides as well, right? It's not that it's new. It has abrasions. It has all that stuff in there. But we just want to clean it out, make sure there's no epoxy in those. Use a wire brush as well. And this is ready to go. So we'll just set this out of the way. Now, things people forget about, the ferrule. So the ferrule acts in the same manner as well. So if you've ever had a ferrule that's worked its way up your shaft or come loose, most likely this step was not done. And it doesn't take a lot. We're not talking about, gouging off material here, but we're going to get this little sander here and we're going to run it inside the ferrule just to, scratch it up. So that is good to go. So for epoxy, for gluing this together, you could use a Brampton, a Golfworks, Long Cure, Fast Cure, Tour Set, whatever epoxy it is that you may want to use. Honestly, for a putter, you can keep it simple. You can go with a 5-minute Gorilla Glue epoxy. We're not putting tremendous amounts of torque on this putter. I would not suggest this for irons, woods, wedges, etc. But for a putter, this is absolutely fine, and it cures pretty quickly, so you can get this thing in action probably by next day at the most. So for the epoxy, a couple things you want to have ready to go. Your epoxy, something to mix it on, something to mix it with. You're going to want to have something to clean epoxy with. So once it gets on your fingers, on the shaft, on the club head, on the ferrule, etc., just good old grip solvent works great. So this is your cleaning, this is your mixing, and this is your application. So epoxy is epoxy. Most of these are set up, especially these, are set up to come out in the right amount of distribution that you'll need. We're not going to need a lot. This is a pretty small. So there we go. Now, looking at this, here's the one thing with these that I am not a fan of. If you can see, son of a bitch. Well, if you could see, it's fucking hell. I had way more of the yellow epoxy than the other. So I'm just going to have to take, unfortunately, some of that away because there was just way too much on there. And this is going to get trashed anyway. So we want to make sure we have a good set. That would have put way too much of this in there than the other one. So just be careful with these. Sometimes stuff gets in there. They don't come out the same. There may be an air bubble or an air pocket in these. So this is all set to go. And 5 minutes, so we gotta work a little quickly here with this. First step is I'm gonna put a little bit of this inside of my ferrule. Just like that. Now, We'll slowly put the ferrule onto the shaft. We're not going to push it down there all the way yet. We're just going to get our epoxy and we're going to set it into our club head. Just mix it around, working from the bottom up to the top. So this is ready to go. Now we're ready to install. I'm going to move my ferrule up. I'm going to get the remainder of my epoxy here, and I am just going to lightly coat the tip of the shaft here. Don't need a lot. We already have more than enough inside of the club head, so this is good to go. Now, using a turning motion, we're going to turn the shaft inside as we install, and I can tell you we feel like we've got a lot in there, so we may see some pop out. No, it actually was perfect. Okay, so we got a nice tight press here. Ferrule is sitting. You can see this ferrule is a little loose, but that's why we have that epoxy there. I may put just a little bit more since we didn't get an ooze out. I'm going to pull this ferrule up. I'm going to put a little bit more right in here. This will also help push some more into the top of the club head. We're just going to twist, twist, twist. By pulling it up, you're sucking it under the ferrule too. So we won't get as much waste. Okay, so this is good. Now, this is why we have our rag. We're just going to give this a little wipe down to get that initial bit off. Okay. Okay, so we've got our another rag. The other one had some of that extra epoxy on there, so I don't want to be rubbing that on everything. So this we're just going to hold right here. I'm not going to throw it out, and we're going to just get a little bit of our solvent like so. And clean the top where any of that epoxy may have oozed out, because you don't want to have that. It's harder to get off in the end, so just make sure it's clean. Make sure that the ferrule is tight to the hosel, and then also always look up the shaft, because if you see, we've got a little fingerprint right here, so we're going to clean that off as well. Okay, and we're looking good. I'm just going to leave this just like this. If you want to, personal preference, and in this situation I probably will, I am going to do this, I will get some painter's tape like this. This is an exterior blue painter's tape that I use. And I will cut myself off a little strip and simply use this to hold the ferrule down, because as epoxy dries, it likes to expand, and expansion will start to move things in here. This is the easiest way to keep everything tight and together. We will go from the top of the shaft onto the ferrule, onto the hosel, and just wrap all of that around. You should end up with something like that, where it's all held in there, nice and tight. Set it up in the playing position, however it is you want. Leave it alone. Go have lunch. Do whatever you need to do. Come back in an hour, and we're going to be able to cut this the length. We will finish the ferrule, polish it up, trim it down if it needs any, and install the grip, and this guy's ready to go. Okay, so it's been just about an hour. Now, this epoxy probably isn't fully cured yet, but it's enough to where we can move on to our next step without worrying about anything breaking loose. So we're just going to peel away a little tape here that held everything in place, and you'll see we've got a nice tight seal to the hosel, the ferrule and the hosel. let's go ahead and we're going to cut this to my playing length. So this is my Maltby. It's actually a Mitchell head right here, and the Maltby Golf Works ruler just slides right under there. Gives us the exact length of what we're going to be playing this, and I play my putters to just over 33 inches. So we're going to set our club into the measuring gauge here. Sole touches that bottom pin. We're going to come up here, and I like to be at 33 and a half. You see I actually put a little, that's kind of my putter dot right there, and we're going to mark this. Some people have the machine with the belt sander and the cutoff wheel all onto it, and that's great. I have this mini cutoff machine that I've been using for, God, the last, I don't know, 10 years. And it works perfectly, honestly. So we're going to set this up. I like to kind of get it in position, like so. And then I will just kind of bring this up, bring that down right to my dot. Okay, tighten it up. And just go ahead and lop it off. There you go. Nice, clean, square cut. Just got to deburr those edges. Just to deburr the ends here, and all we're going to do is we're just going to turn this on. We're going to hit the butt end of the club right up against it, and it should break all of those burrs free. So now you can see there's no burrs inside or outside on the butt end of the shaft, and we can go ahead and put the grip on this. All right, so we have talked about this quite a bit, about super stroke grips and installing them and how most people install them incorrectly. And the incorrect installation usually results in that ridiculous gap that you will have right here between your shaft, I guess as it sits down here, and the grip, so much that you could squeeze it. Okay, I'm going to show you how to take care of that. First thing you need to understand is that super stroke grips, when we install them, they don't install all the way to the end. There is as we know, this thing threads in, so there is a legit stop on these grips, roughly about that much, where this is where your playing length is going to come to. So that 33 and a half inches is going to go to about right here on the super stroke grip. Now, the other thing with super stroke grips is I do not use full-size tape. Meaning, I will not use this tape to install a super stroke grip. This is what messes up a lot of people. They put this grip on, this tape, and they have a problem getting the super stroke grip on. What I will use, the skinny tape, right? The normal skinny tape that you would use. We're going to measure our distance. Now, we know that the super stroke grip stops about right here. So I know that I don't want to go any further than that. And the key to installing this, it's a little different because we're going to use a wrap method, is you want to start with an angled cut, like so. Now, you may need to change this depending on how you're going to wrap, and we'll figure it out here in a second. But that angled is going to go onto our shaft, like so. And then we're simply just going to wrap around. You don't need a ton of tape to hold these on. And we will just trim the end here flush to our shaft, like so. Now, we'll get to the bottom in a second. Calm down. We will take this off, exposing all of our double-sided tape. At this point, we are going to put an extra wrap at the bottom. This is going to ensure that you don't get that stupid super stroke gap. And then I will put another one on the butt end right here. Second biggest problem with super stroke grip installation is you're never going to think you're going to use enough solvent. Over solvent this or you're going to get stuck. So this is why we use this drip tray. All this solvent that I'm wasting is going right back into my reservoir to use for later. So none of it is being wasted. That's why I can be extra generous. Would never use this much solvent on a traditional iron regripping or anything like that. Just load it up. And then once you've got it, you need to put this on immediately. Don't wait, don't hesitate, just install. Okay, now my club has rotated slightly here. Get this turned and set up. We have this on. The easiest way, while this is going and out of the way, easiest way to square up your putter, the edge of your workbench. The face goes onto the edge, making sure it's nice and square and flat up there. And then just go ahead and make sure that your putter grip is flush this way. Go ahead, give it a look. That's perfectly 90 degrees using this method. Just to show you here. There's our grip. Perfectly square. Now with all that set up, we're just gonna give this a little wipe down. Any solvent that we have maybe gotten down the shaft during the installation. Just clean off the tip of the grip here. Reinstall our butt cap, like so. We're going to check for square one last time. Perfect. And all we're going to do is just leave this to set. We'll just leave this here overnight. 100% sure it'll be fine overnight, but we're using it tomorrow. So we've got 12 hours for this thing to set up and let the grip tape do what it needs to do. So it's that easy. It's not hard. It took me all in all, with an hour wait time in between, what, 30 minutes? So you can totally do this. We didn't use anything special here that I guarantee you don't have in your shop or your garage or your house right now. So until next time, make sure you swing as hard as you can just in case you hit the ball. G2 out.